Alrighty, so as you can see, I am live. So we are live here for tornado warnings in Ohio.
As you can see,
Wait,
I
what?
am live.
Oh, okay, I see what's going on.
We are live here for tornado warnings in Ohio.
This thing was playing on my. Alright, so we have a radar indicated tornado here near Xenia, Ohio. Of course, we should go to our double mode here. Okay, we do have a little bit of rotation here. Just to the southwest of Xenia, Ohio. We've had some monster hail producers today. We also have some storms developing down here in Tennessee, as we see some discrete, semi-discrete supercells firing here. This area is more congealed into a line at this point and mostly a straight line wind producer, although earlier there was a possible tornado earlier. And then here we have our more discrete cells, where we have these storms are firing just northeast of the Memphis area, and they're moving off to the northeast. So we expect to see these storms to kind of shift eastward, form into a line, and shift eastward with time. And then we have the Nashville radar, KOHX. Nothing too much going on over there. So let's get to our main severe threat here. We've had some, as I've said, some monster hail producers today. This one it might be producing a little bit of pea-sized hail there. That's my estimation. But yeah, we have this supercell here. And then we do have another severe thunderstorm warning just issued with a possible tornado. So please keep your eye on the weather here. This new scan that just came in looks increasingly concerning for the hail and some maybe rotation here. Let's see. I apologize, I could not go live earlier to cover the severe weather. I'm really sorry about that, but yeah, this line here forming, setting up of rotation, although I don't think it's much rotation. This may just be more of a rear flank downdraft, and then it's not too much of rotation. Thank you, the Jersey Devil, for showing up. You've been here since the beginning, so thank you for all the support you've shown. We have a little bit of stronger storms forming here just northwest of the Cincinnati area. And then we have quite a few special weather statements as well as severe thunderstorm warnings out. And then we still have tornado watches in effect, expiring in 49 minutes for these areas. As storms continue to fire in these areas, it is a little bit more of a stabilized environment, but the air isn't totally depleted, so I wouldn't be surprised to see another spin-up tornado or two out of these storms. Let's go to the Indianapolis radar site. We have these storms really forming and more of like congealing into a line. As you can see, we have 3 distinct cells of thunderstorms. 2 of them are multicellular in nature, and then one of them appears to be single cellular. As you can see, this is one single cell here. And then these ones appear to be multicellular. As you can see, we have, this is Indiana, I think. We have what appears to be 3 different cells, and then on this one, what appears to be 2 different cells. Okay, so we just had we just had the tornado warning lifted. Yeah, the tornado warning has been lifted for areas near Gurneyville. I think that's how it's pronounced. Gurneyville. Whoa, what is happening? to the mouse. Not exactly sure why it's doing that. I think it might have been because I was unplugging it, but anyways, we have a very interesting setup here with this storm. Severe thunderstorm warning likely for higher winds and maybe some small hail embedded in this storm. Let's see. If we take a look at the CC here, the CC, so just to the northwest of Gurneyville, we do have some small hail. It appears to be, 1-inch hail. That's not small hail at all, actually. But a possible tornado as well, so still keep an eye out for a tornado because it hasn't been the threat of tornadoes hasn't been completely gone. I'm also going to be keeping a close eye on these cells firing down here if any of them misbehave. Along this long line here, even down further south, down into Mississippi, we had supercells firing. If we look down here on the Memphis radar, we had cells firing to the west of Bartlettsville. These could be supercellular in nature. I just can't really tell because they're really far away from the radar. So let me see if I can get a better look from another radar. I think that might be the closest radar. Yeah, I think Memphis is the closest radar. So this one appears to be supercellular in nature. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one or two hail reports out of that. And then I wouldn't be surprised to see one or two tornado reports on it. And then we have these little supercells somewhat developing near Jackson, Tennessee. As the new radar scan just updated, it appears to become even more supercellular, and these ones look to be trying to merge somewhat. So that'll be interesting to see how those storms will interact. I know sometimes it can help drop a tornado, and then sometimes it just merges into a line, so that'll be interesting to see what actually happens. And then we have this storm up here near Clarksville. We have a line of storms here developing. They're more of a wind threat at this point, as you can see. We have a gust front a little bit developing, setting up, an outflow boundary setting up. So if this outflow boundary sticks around, it'll be interesting to see what happens when the storm's right along the outflow boundary if it does stick around. We might start to see a little bit of rotation here just to the west of Oak Grove. That's an area of concern there. And then we have a supercell firing just to the west of Clarksville. This has a nice little hook on it there. And it has a nice little rain hail core right here. It's probably mostly heavy rain here. So enough of that. Let's move up to the Midwest here, into the Ohio Valley. Nice supercell here, developing in western Ohio. As you can definitely tell, it's a nice looking supercell. Definitely a defined hook here, and then a defined rain hail core right somewhere in here. And then this is really the hail core in here, and then we have the outer heavy rain core and potentially small hail. If we check back on the storms down here in Lexington, nothing too much coming out of those. Maybe a few strong wind reports may come out of those. I wouldn't be surprised. Back to this Columbus storm here. We got a little bit of rotation here just to the north of South Bloomfield. So let's see. This is right to the southwest of Groveport here. So kind of in between. So I would estimate it somewhere in here, the area of potential rotation. We do have another area I would keep an eye on here near Newport. Nothing too much coming out of it right now. Nothing too concerning at this point, but as well as keep an eye on areas north of Jeffersonville because there is a little bit of a inflow notch developing, as you can tell. It's kind of like pulling apart here, and this could allow for some nice warm moist air to wrap around here into the updraft. So this is just to the north of Jeffersonville, just to the northwest here. Yeah, that lines up about right. This nice inflow. Some cells firing here to the southwest of Columbus. Oh, I'm surprised this is not tornado warned. This goes right through the National Forest. Yes, this lines up perfectly. Let's see. Yeah, this lines up perfectly. I'm surprised this is not tornado warned. As you can see, if we look at the high resolution correlation coefficient, there might even be some hail mixed in there. I'm surprised this is not tornado warned though. As we see on the new update, the rotation becoming even more intense. We got 75-mile-an-hour winds blowing right onto around 13 to 20 mile per hour winds, I'd say. So this would be around what would that be? That would be around, I would say, maybe around 80 something miles per hour worth of rotation. So there could be a mesocyclone developing. So if I see 80, I'm going to drop that down to about 60 to account for maybe some contamination, potential contamination there. So around 60 mile per hour of rotation. Now keep in mind that is, I believe EF0 to EF1 status somewhere in there. I believe EF0 is 60. But as you can see, we have this area of rotation here. It's very broad. It goes up through these areas. I think this area would be the primary area of concern just to the southeast of the National Forest, as it aligns with the hook best. As you can see, we have the winds going towards the radar really rapidly, and the rotation is really starting to tighten in this area, which is not good at all. We have winds going towards the radar very rapidly, winds going away from the radar somewhat rapidly, and so we create this area of rotation here. So there could be a tornado somewhere in there at some point. I wouldn't be surprised to see a tornado warning drop. Then we have this line of storms here. This is a little bit of a hook. Just to see Sweetwater Lake Tiger. Yeah, there's a little bit of an area of rotation there. Just nothing too much though. It's mostly just coming from this little these little boundaries that's set up because of these outflows and everything. Still, it'll be interesting to see how these storms interact with all that. Going back down towards Clarksville, we get another area of concern here, but at this point it's mostly a gust front, and it'll be interesting to see if anything does form later along towards that area. It'll be interesting to see how it reacts with the boundary that could set up there. Down towards Jackson, we have they're somewhat starting to become a line. So they're really starting to become wind producers, I would say. Back up here towards the Columbus area, somewhat near there. Sorry I'm jumping around a lot, but there's a lot to cover tonight. It's been an active day today. I've been tracking the radar all day and trying to make a post, even though I only made one. I try to do the best I can about that. Yeah, we have a little bit of more of a gust front setting up rather than a rotation area. we switch radars here, maybe there might... Oh, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning towards Columbus. A damage threat considerable with a possible tornado. We have 70-mile-per-hour winds. So a significant, severe, potentially area and a possible tornado. Yep, this is the area I was saying. I'm surprised it wasn't tornado warned. We have that area there, right? This is Indiana, I believe, near Hoosier National Forest. And then we have this area right here, possibly from the northern storm here, as we have them congealing. So it could be from the northern storm, that northern area of rotation. Hello, Michael Grover. Hello, thank you for tuning in. Let's see. We also have some very strong winds. You see a very nice pocket of strong winds just to the southwest of Jamestown. I would say it's somewhere in here because we have this, somewhere in here likely. Somewhere in here we have a pocket of strong winds. Let's see, we have another area here of cells firing off. Let's see. Nothing too much else to talk about. Maybe if something new gets issued. But if you'll notice on these outbreak days, I don't have my tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warning counter on anymore because that would just be way too much to keep up with on a day like this and take away time for much needed severe weather coverage. We have an area of rotation here. We have it spinning areas towards the radar, and the red is areas away from the radar. So we have a little bit of a potential tornado somewhere in here. A possible tornado according to the National Weather Service. As you can see, and a considerable damage threat, which is really interesting to me. I don't see that used a lot, but there is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning towards Columbus. So let's see. We have, let's see. If you're still watching, please type in chat so I know that somebody is watching. Oh, and it really helps a lot. So we have this area of rotation here, or potential rotation, as we have this slight area of spin. The National Weather Service still has the tornado possible tag on it. Oh, we just got a new special weather statement issued for Jackson. What is this for? This is probably mostly for wind. Yeah, wind gusts of 40 miles per hour and half-inch hail. So that's towards Jackson, Tennessee. Moving back up towards our main area like Columbus. If we check out this severe thunderstorm warning, it is moving northeast at 45. So, there's a cool thing I figured out I could do. I figured out that on Radar Omega, you could set the speed and track a location. So that's pretty cool. I'm probably going to use that here. In fact, so moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So this storm will be near Pikes Peak, Indiana, 9 minutes. Ogilville, 17 minutes. Garden City, 25 minutes. And Columbus, 26 minutes. All those times are give or take a few minutes because obviously a storm could be moving slightly faster or slower than 25 or 45 miles per hour. And also, depending on like if the storm expands, like you might be getting rain in Columbus, but the main sector is still like 26 minutes away from you if you're in Columbus. And also, there's a possible tornado as well as a considerable damage threat with winds up to 75 miles per hour and winds or hail 3/4 of an inch or less in diameter. So that's pretty interesting to see happening as we're seeing this same story for a lot of the afternoon today. Possible tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. That's been really severe weather has been a really kind of, I guess you'd say there's been a lot of severe weather today, obviously, as it's more so an outbreak day, I would consider this. This area near Bowersville is getting a little too close for the radar to determine what can be done about it or what is going on in the storm. Same story with the Clarksville radar, although strong winds is apparent in this storm. And then we have this storm once again out here towards Columbus. They probably did a new radar scan at this point. This area, the Hook Echo in the main area of rotation is still slightly outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, which is a little concerning because that means people who are in the actual path of the potential main threat could not even be in the warning potentially. Only the people on the southeast side of the warning may get an alert for it. So as we get this updated here, I think the update times are once again broken like they were in the last stream. Because obviously the scan just updated and it is 9:30 p.m. currently. Okay. I would not be surprised to see a tornado warning issued. Houston, Indiana. You're in a strong area of rotation and potential interest here. If we take a look at correlation coefficient, this might just be a little bit of hail or rain contamination. Because I don't know, this might line up. I think this might line up. That's a little bit concerning if it does, but when it's just 2 pixels of a correlation coefficient drop, it's really hard to tell if it's just contamination or if it's actually a CC drop. But regardless, you should be taking shelter because there could be a tornado anyways. With this severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're anywhere within this severe thunderstorm warning, take shelter in a basement because there's a possible tornado as well as a considerable damage threat. So this is areas like Columbus, Pikes Peak, Indiana, Ogleville, Indiana, just to the north of Houston. And Houston probably should be taking shelter considering as the area of rotation is not far north of them. And we see another scan here. I think they might be running quick scans or something at this point. But we have this area of interest in here that might kind of be getting swallowed up because the inflow is kind of getting smaller here. The inflow just northeast of Bald Knobs. So we'll just have to see what the velocity signature shows because right now there's a really nice area of rotation. And there still is on the new scan. New scan, still nice rotation right over north of Bald Knobs here in Indiana, just to the south of Buffalo, Indiana. And then we have a secondary area of slight rotation with this cell that's trying to merge with this primary cell. So that's pretty interesting there. So, I think something just happened. They updated it, I think. They might have updated it. I don't think they did, but the radar scan still showing this area here. As you can see, just to the east of Houston, Indiana, we have a slight inflow. Maybe even a push of the outflow here, as you can see stuff developing along the flanking line. This might be a mainly outflow driven area right here, or it could be, this might be somewhat outflow driven, but I also suspect that there's a nice area of inflow in here, as apparent on the velocity signature here. The new scan, we still show this area here. It might be trying to recycle as we see some rain off to the south developing. Either this is going to help it produce another tornado and it's trying to regain a hook, or it's going to cut off the moisture inflow. But the second scenario is not looking apparent, as it still has in fact, maybe even a better inflow here. I don't know. It could be cutting off the inflow here, and if so, that would be great. But it still has a nice little area of rotation here, and I don't foresee them dropping the tornado possible tag anytime soon, at least in the next few minutes. So, if we just zoom out, you'd see that this is really the only active area aside from areas in Tennessee here. This line of cells firing, and then as well as Ohio there. And the main threat in Ohio is probably going to be damaging winds. As you could tell on the velocity, we have a lot of damaging winds here. Although this area is interesting here, just to the south of Obetz. We do have a slight inflow developing and then a slight hook, but nothing too much. Nothing that's like definitively an area of rotation over there, but over here we do have a definitive area of rotation just to the east of Buffalo, Indiana. This area is experiencing a stronger inflow, a slight outflow here, where they're converging along this boundary. I believe the scan just updated and it still shows a broad area of rotation here. Still a nice area of rotation though. And then, yeah, we still got an inflow. This may just be trying to recycle here the hook. The hook is kind of coming back here. As you can tell, we have a nice clearing out here. As we have the inflow trying to get into this area of the storm here. So just to the east of Buffalo, or to the southeast of Buffalo, I should say. Let's see. So that's somewhere in there. So we do have that inflow matching up with the inflow notch there. That secondary area of rotation still hanging on, though nothing too much coming out of it so far. In fact, if we go to data overlays, I can turn on storm reports, tornado, wind damage, and then hail. Alright, so we turned those on. Obviously, we're probably going to have some reports up here, or maybe not, I don't know. Well, that's pretty interesting, because earlier we had a lot of tornado reports coming out of some of these areas. Okay, yeah, we still have this hook trying to redevelop here. And you'd see there's still a clear area of a supercellular structure somewhat. It's not the cleanest looking supercell, but it's definitely still trying to hang on to that structure. I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen the inflow really try to bounce back here, as we have this area of clearance trying to develop. So this area is starting to clear, or trying to clear at least. The inflow's still hanging on here. We still have an inflow, and then the outflow is starting to get a little bit stronger, so This is pretty interesting to see this set up here. We have a supercell. We have two supercells, in fact. One kind of just merged with the other. And then the other one is still semi-discrete here. At least the hook is discrete. The northern side is not discrete. So it's semi-discrete, I would say. Because it's not fully congealed into a line yet. Although it is part of a multicellular structure, the bottom one is kind of becoming dominant because it's obviously got nothing below it to reduce the inflow here. It'll be interesting to see all these storms if they train northeastward or more like this area, I guess. When will it be in Cookeville, Tennessee? It'll be in Cookeville probably later tonight, probably closer to 10 or 11. We may not even see rain actually, but we likely will as this line of storms moves eastward. As this boundary moves eastward, we will probably see storms develop along it. And we may even see some cells. Okay, there is some cells firing north of Cookeville. Discrete cells. These will honestly probably become supercells as time moves on. But Cookeville is actually in a, let's see. Let's go to severe weather. Cookeville is actually in a 2% tornado threat here. I know the tornado threat ends right here, but the environment is unstable enough in Cookeville that we could see some tornadoes here as well. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. We have this southern cell here in Indiana. Yeah, 2%. I know 2% seems like a low threat, but 2% is commonly used in the Storm Prediction Center terminology as basically saying 1 or 2 tornadoes are possible. But we have this area here in Indiana of developing here. We have a little bit of a hook echo here trying to develop here. As you see this area of clearings, we could see some rotation along this line here. So let's see, it's starting to develop another storm on the south side of it, I would say. This is starting to look like a secondary supercell developing along the dominant supercell there. Columbus, this storm right here, pretty interesting. We have a lot of strong winds associated with this storm here, a lot of outflow here. And then as you can tell, we have this area of outflow here. And then this area just to the southwest of Hilliard has a little bit of winds going towards the radar, although that's pretty interesting to see there. Not exactly sure why it's happening. Probably just a little bit of an outflow, but we still have this area of rotation persisting and strengthening just to the east of Waynesville, Indiana. And then we have a secondary area of rotation just to the north of Spraytown. So this area does line up there. Whoa. Checking back in on our storms down here in Clarksville. We're starting to see a little bit of a supercell structure develop. I know it's hard to see because the radar beams are kind of spreading it here. But the structure here looking to be like a supercell just to the north of Clarksville. We have the hook potentially. And then we potentially have like the sea. It probably is a little bit smaller than that. Probably somewhere in like that. So we could potentially have a supercell on our hands here, although it's starting to congeal into a line, as you can tell, and it's mostly becoming a wind producer as we speak. So focusing down here on the storms in Jackson, Tennessee, we have a little bit of an outflow, a gust front setting up. And if an outflow boundary does end up setting up, it'll be interesting to see how the storms firing behind it interact with it as they move off to the northeast. But you can definitely see everything's starting to become a line here. And soon, the entire region here is just going to be facing a wall of storms as it's moving off to the northeast. Let's see. Okay, they just updated this warning again, once again. There is still a tornado possible tagging a considerable wind threat. Although I'm not seeing a considerable wind threat here. 30-something miles per hour is the peak gust. That's really interesting. I've never seen a considerable threat for 70 miles per hour issued for 30 mile per hour winds. Maybe they're just seeing something I'm not sure, but what I do know is we have a broad area of rotation here on the south side of this storm. So just to the south of Columbus. And then we have a secondary area of rotation here, as you would see developing, just off to the south here or just off to the north here of Spraytown, Indiana, Indiana. So, this area, this velocity should get an update soon. Hopefully, it does get an update. Let's see. Alrighty, so, we do still have the area of rotation. I'm not sure if it's updated yet. If it hasn't, we'll just wait to see. But as of now, currently, we have an area of rotation there. Correlation coefficient, just to the southeast of Ogleville. We have a little bit of a CC drop, although this could be from any number of things, especially hail. Especially at this part of the storm, yeah. That could be hail. The part of the storm we're interested on is this area here. As the storm continues to move off and develop a broad area of rotation, it's starting to become more of a line of storms here, as you can see. It's kind of starting to bow out. Remember how it used to be. Let's see, it used to be more like a supercell in structure, more like that. And now it's, as you can see, the leading edge of the storm is more of a bow echo now, rather than a hook echo. Let me see if I can actually get this right. There we go. And we see this area on the south side and the north side developing. Pretty interesting to see there. Let's see. Just to the east of Mount Healthy, that's pretty weird name, Mount Healthy. Just to the east of Mount Healthy, we have a little bit of rotation just to the south and east near Waymansville. And then, let's see. If we zoom out and look at the broad area of storms we have ongoing, and that's pretty interesting to see. So yeah, there's still a tornado threat. And then there's another cell trying to fire near North Vernon here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this become a supercell as the night progresses. Columbus, you have an area of rotation here. Winds going towards the radar, winds going away from the radar. So we kind of have this area of rotation developing right somewhere in there. We have this area, it's kind of on the back side, but it's pretty interesting to see how this is progressing as this line of storms starts to move off. And then we have another line of storms here moving near the Nineveh area in Indiana. And we have it's a little bit of more of a short line of storms. Excuse me. Out there, then here near Greencastle, we do have more of a line of storms developing here. It's more linear than it is single cell. And then this storm continues to grow more like a line of storms rather than a supercell by each scan. We have the line progressing off to the east, and we just got a velocity update. Just to the west of Jonesville here, along this area here, we start to see another area of rotation develop in southern, southern Indiana. Still, the considerable tag in it expires in 11 minutes. The tornado watch expires in 11 minutes. It's now in effect till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so this is 10 p.m. my time. So it's only in effect for 11 more minutes. Nothing too much. We have this kind of a precipitation core here developing. As this progresses, we start to see this area developing. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of heart-shaped, if you noticed. It's kind of like, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of heart-shaped there, somewhat. That's pretty cool. But anyways, we have these two broad areas of rotation, and then we have another area of rotation off to the north. Well, we did, and then it kind of depleted there. It's interesting. Oh, hi, Storm Chaser 575. Thank you for joining. Thank you. But yeah, these storms potentially. We have this area of friction here, a broad area of rotation. It's not it's not a very large area of rotation or like a tight area of rotation, but it's definitely there. Hello, Epic Outdoor 6. Thank you for joining, tuning in. We have, let's see, just to the west of Jonesville, we have potential broad rotation here across these areas in southern Illinois or Indiana here. And then let's see, we got some storms firing here in Tennessee here, West Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee has a special weather statement for some strong winds. It expires in 9 minutes, and we have wind gusts to 40 miles per hour and half-inch hail. The tornado threat continues through the night. And the tornado threat probably should include all these areas here. We could have a tornado threat across these areas through the night as these cells develop. This includes areas Nashville and eastward on here. Towards areas like Cookeville, we have around a 2% tornado threat over here in Cookeville. And then let's see. We have this supercell here developing just to the southwest of Russellville. We have Russellville, Kentucky. We have this area of rotation beginning to develop just to the north of Olmsted. And then, let's see. Okay, so that area is moving north as we speak. Let's see. The Indianapolis radar site. Continuing to show an area of broad rotation here, although it's really starting to broaden out as this line becomes more incapable to produce a tornado. We still have the tornado possible tag, although they're probably going to let this expire. Either they're going to cancel it or expire. So they haven't canceled it yet, but let's see. With this area here, okay, a slight area. I can't tell if this is contamination or not, but if it's not contamination, then we might have an area of rotation here, developing just to the north of Mount Meridian here. This may not be contamination considering the fact that we have a slight bit of an inflow developing here just to the north of Mount Meridian. If you can tell, it's kind of indented more, and then we have kind of pushing out more on these areas. So that's a key feature of some of these areas here, although that could just be contamination, like I said. This severe thunderstorm warning, I wouldn't doubt that it gets canceled soon. And then we have a line of storms moving just to the east of Franklin, Indiana here. It's kind of bowing out here, which is indicative of strong winds. And then they did let that severe thunderstorm warning expire there. That's just a tornado watch, but they did extend the tornado watch, it does appear. Oh, well, it's going to allow the tornado watch to expire at 11 p.m. for these areas. Okay, so it will allow it to expire, I guess. That's pretty interesting, seeing as they extended it somewhat, somehow. I don't know. That expires at 6 minutes. Okay, so this is probably going to expire. So these counties, this includes these areas. All right. So, anyways, we have this area here of interest of broad rotation here. As you can tell, we have so we have the winds going away from the radar, winds going towards the radar. We have this area of potential broad rotation. We do have Columbus, Ohio, starting to the storms are starting to move into that area. Well, they have been for a while, and they're still continuing to get storms up there. And then we do have these little discrete supercells starting to form on the south side of Columbus. And then let's see, we have a lot of discrete supercells forming in the warm sector here. So still a lot of discrete supercells forming back towards areas like Memphis, Nashville, Louisville, Charleston, West Virginia, Frankfort, Kentucky, towards those areas. We still have discrete supercells starting to fire. Just to the west of Bowling Green, Kentucky, we have another storm that is beginning to potentially rotate here. Winds blowing strongly away from the radar, and winds blowing weakly away from the radar. This will probably reverse very quickly, as we do have these area of friction starting to set up here. Yeah, it is starting to switch this way, and then we still have these strong winds going this way. So I'll keep you all updated on that storm while I try to balance all the other storms as well, like the storms near Jackson that are mostly becoming linear at this point. which basically just means it's a line of storms. And you can see we kind of have more of a wind threat than a tornado threat. And the wind threat is probably going to prevail through the night now, as we don't have any current severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's probably one of the first times today that's happened. Storms are starting to settle down. Let's see. Okay. All right. Wow, that is massive there. Let us take that down quite a bit. Oh, wow. What is going on here? Okay, so anyways, I gotta fit this into a short area here. Probably that area there. Let's see how that does. So I guess I'll see what that does. Uh, let's move it a little bit. Like there. I think that should be good. Because I'm gonna probably come back whenever, if anything, like a new severe thunderstorm warning gets issued. Yeah, I'll probably come back when a new severe thunderstorm warning gets issued. So just continue to keep an eye on the storms there. Alrighty, so we have an interesting thing happening here I wanted to point out. Let me go back to reflectivity. So we have this interesting area of rotation here, just to the west of Sardinia here in Indiana. That's interesting. It caught my eye as soon as I saw it. We have this area of inflow clashing with the outflow area here, and you can see the well-defined outflow boundary here as this wind kind of creates an outflow here. And then we have the inflow here. You can clearly see the inflow as it carves out a path in the storm. Okay, I think that they should probably issue a warning on this. If this does continue, I believe that the rotation will be somewhere in this area here once the velocity scan updates, but I do believe there's a potential for there to be a tornado here somewhere. But wait, let me redraw that again. I want to keep that up. A potential area here. And then, let's see, yeah, it's right in there. I think they need to issue a warning on this because this is getting like a tight area of rotation here. Red on green right here. I'm glad I've seen this because if I hadn't have been moving around the radar, then I would not have seen this. But yeah, there's an area there of rotation. Let's see, it's right in between Sardinia and Harper, so right here, right where we would expect it. High res correlation coefficient. Let's see. That's that one. Whoop. Why isn't it letting me choose that's interesting. It's not letting me choose. Let's see, it's right in there. So right in there. And we do have a little bit of a CC drop to the south, although this could be for a number of things. This is to the south of Harper in here. That could be to a number of things, including contamination or corruption in the radar. But as you can see, we have that area there. Let's see. That's interesting. Anyways. CC. Right to the north of Harper, there might be a slight CC drop. We'll see how this aligns. It'd be right in here somewhere. The rotation on this next scan, which isn't too far of a stretch. So, these two areas, yeah, it is in fact right there. Right to the north of Harper here. So yeah, that kind of matches up. So there could be a tornado here, just to the north of Harper. This area right here. Let us see. That area in there. Okay, so this area of rotation, I'm surprised that it's not warned. A tornado warned, that is. This area right here could be an area of concern, though it's not too concerning at this point. This area near Harper is the most concerning. These two areas are the most concerning at this point. And then we do see a little something trying to form here. So this will be interesting to see what that does. We just sit here and wait for the scan to come in. I guess that's what we're going to do. These two areas still rotating. This isn't the new scan, but according to the last scan, they're still rotating. So treat them like they're still rotating. I think this is the new scan. It indeed is, and we have a rotation area right over here, just to the east of Wetsport and Harper. Then we also still continue to have this area of rotation here. That is very interesting to see. As we have this kind of like inflow right here. Let's see. I'm not seeing any new severe thunderstorm warnings or anything being issued. I would be surprised if they didn't issue one here, because this is some very strong winds on it. It is capable of producing strong winds. But anyways, back up here to the Harper storm. Let's see if I can find it now. Yeah, that's it. So just to the east of Wetsport, that's like right in here. And then on this new radar scan here, we have a bulge in the line here, which usually indicates an inflow and an outflow converging. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Okay, so I believe this is the new radar scan, right to the west of the corner here. Right over this area here. We have an area of rotation. And we do have the area of outflow here. And then the area of inflow here. So we have an area of spin created right in here. By the way, if you're in chat, either type in chat to let me know you're watching, or just like spam reactions, like this stream, please, to get this out to the people who need it. But yeah, this is more of a multicellular structure. Two cells look like they combined, and then we have these areas trying to combine to the north. This would make it less favorable for tornadoes, but even if it was less favorable for tornadoes, that still doesn't mean one can't be produced by it. So we're waiting. A new radar scan hopefully will come in soon. The inflow area, or the outflow area, okay, it's starting to become a nice area here of starting to become a nice little line of storms here, potentially. We do still have a little bit of a bulge in the line here, just to the east of Tuckertown. Thank you, Jersey Devil. Thank you for that. I really appreciate all you do here. I really do appreciate it. No, you should go subscribe to him. Okay, Neff corner here just to the east. We have a little bit of rotation here, just to the east. So right to the west of Tuckertown in here. Somewhere in here we still have some broad and light rotation, right in there. And then down here near Harper, we have rotation just to the south of it. Let's see. Let's move up towards the Columbus storm here. Let's click that. Yeah, we have a nice area here. Okay, this is a definite area we want to watch here for rotation to start developing. Here, just to the west of Darbyville, we have a little bit of a hook developing. I think it just updated. We do have a hook developing here, and that's pretty interesting to see, as we do see this nice little inflow develop, a nice clean cut area just to the east of Darbyville here. You could clearly see it on the radar. and the velocity and everything. So that's going to be another area of interest so far tonight. Back down towards the Clarksville storms. Nothing too much going on. These are mostly wind producers at this point, as they're starting to become more congealed, as you can see. We have some nice lines of storms starting to develop, semi-discrete, and lines of storms here starting to develop. The semi-discrete supercells are mostly on the southern side of these lines, as they're going to be like the dominant ones, obviously, because they have the most open space. Kind of like where you need big space to grow. Like, I guess an example of that would be like fish. They need like bigger ponds and everything to grow to larger sizes. I guess that's an analogy. We have the winds going away from the radar here, and then we have them going towards the radar. So it's created this area of rotation there. Just to the south of Harper, just to the south of Westport. It's starting to become semi-discrete as this storm is kind of starting to break away right here. And then this storm starting to weaken a little bit, and it's kind of starting to become dominant down here. Oh, I think we just got a new special weather statement issued. Strong wind gusts possible tonight ahead of an approaching cold front, especially in any rain showers. Brief gusts over 35 to 40 miles per hour. So yeah. Strong wind gusts obviously occurring with the line of storms here. Let's see, yeah. Definitely more than likely strong winds would be occurring. We also have this area, nice area here. I just want to take a look at this real quick. The winter weather radar. We got some nice snow developing up there in Minnesota. Just taking a look at that real quick. Oh wow, this the winter weather radar looks so cool on the storms. But you kind of need the regular reflectivity to get a better look. So just to the east of Westport, we got this area of rotation once again developing here. We got some nice areas of rotation here. And then this one up near Columbus here. Interesting to see it develop. And it is starting to develop in an area of rotation here. Let's see, is this area in the 2% torr threat though? It is in the 2% tornado threat, so these storms are still well within an environment capable of producing tornadoes, as well as these ones well within an environment capable of producing tornadoes. This is the wind threat, I believe. Yeah, wind, and then we got the hail threat. So we still have storms within an environment capable of producing severe weather. And here's our severe weather outlook still remaining for a lot of these areas here. And then we have the slight risk. Things are starting to ramp up slightly as we got a severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued. Or maybe not just been issued, but it has been issued just recently here. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued with this storm for quarter-size hail, which is 1 inch in diameter. So if we turn on the correlation coefficient, oh yeah, we can see this massive hail core here, a 1 inch in diameter hail. Now we got this nice hail core moving right over and just to the south of New Haven here in West Virginia. A lot of these storms out in West Virginia are likely going to be bigger hail makers than anything. Like wind and hail makers more than tornado makers, because as you can see, if we look at the velocity, it's not even rotating, if any. Because here we got the part of the storm that would be producing a tornado, and it's not even rotating really. So as you can tell, we would have more of a wind producers out here and hail producers rather than tornado producers. Let's see. Nashville radar picking up on some storms out to the west here. Line of storms developing and firing off to the east. Oh, so these storms are well developed. As you can see, producing some really strong winds here. 50s and 60s of miles per hour. I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service did go ahead and start issuing some stuff there. Yeah, something like a special weather statement, severe thunderstorm warning, something needs to be issued there, or at least should be, because we got 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. But yeah, the National Weather Service probably has their hands full right now, so with everything going on. So don't be surprised if there's a little bit of a delayed warning time. I mean, you can't really judge them for that either, because they've just, in general, they probably just had a long day tracking the atmosphere and setup. So don't be upset. In fact, you should never really be upset unless it's something that is really outstanding missing. But you should really never be upset, because those people really work hard to do their job, and they keep people safe. So we should thank them for that. But yeah, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning, and I believe this might be a little bit of a warm front setting up here, a line for the this area of storms to develop. I don't even know if this was I don't even know if this was forecast. So if I'm gonna look at something real quick here. I don't know how I can change it. Here, let's see. How do I change the forecast here? I'm not sure. Anyways, let me just go back to the single site radar, because I cannot figure out how to work that there. Let's see, what radar is it set to? I cannot. Oh, there it is. Okay, southeastern Illinois there. We do have some storms starting to develop. Those are still in a somewhat unstable environment, though it has been slightly stabilized through all this storm activity that we've been seeing around the region through the afternoon. Yeah, as you can tell, we've had quite a bit of storm activity. Yeah, this is the line of storms is getting pretty strong here. 40s, 50s mile per hour winds, even up into the 60s in some cases. So that line of storms are really starting to take off there. It continues. We have some cells developing near Clarksville, becoming wind producers there. Let's check back in with this cell here, see how it's doing. And the area of rotation has massively weakened, severely weakened there. Let's check back in with the Columbus cell. No, there's a nice area of rotation there, just to the north of South Broomfield here. That's probably just a downdraft from the wind and hail core there. As you know, the winds fly out of the storm that makes the wind. But we still do have a slight area of rotation, and then we have this storm out here just ahead of the hook area. So yeah, back to the severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, that's a nice area there of a severe storm. Let's go to lightning detection. Let's turn that on about 30 minutes there. Strike interval color. Just detect the lightning. As you can see, these have been very active storms in terms of lightning. Let's check back with this line of storms here and see the lightning here. Wow, this system here has been really active. Maybe we should start paying more attention to it. I just haven't paid much attention because it's more of a congealed area of storms rather than discrete. But yeah, it's been a very active area of storms out towards Cave City and Bowling Green. Let's see, right here, just to the south of Park City, that's an area to keep an eye on. Yeah, this storm has basically become a line of storms here rather than anything meaningful. Very weak winds, more likely in the 30 to 20 mile per hour range at this point. However, this storm here near South Bloomfield in Ohio, you got to keep an eye on this one as it's trying to regain its hook. As you can see, we have this structure here. Look at the shape here on it. It's trying to wrap up a little bit there. Definitely you can tell that. Alrighty, so. Oh, we just got a new extension to the severe thunderstorm warning for the same thing. And we might actually start to see a little bit of concern come out of this storm, although nothing too outlandish at this point. Yeah, there's torrential rainfall. Wow. Do not drive in your vehicle through flooded roadways. Yeah, definitely do not do that. Turn around, don't drown. You know the saying. And it's really a wise saying. Obviously, people, you probably don't want to drive through floodwaters. I mean, some people might, but I definitely wouldn't. Let's see, we got this interesting area here. Wow. Okay. Maybe I should have been paying more attention to this, but you can see the supercell structure really developing here. Classic supercell look here with this. And we do have a slight area of rotation here. Just to the southeast of Jeffersonville here. Somewhere in here, a broad area of rotation is developing. We got a hook here. If we take a look at correlation coefficient, yeah, that's mostly just noise in there. That's not anything meaningful that we can actually learn from there. But, yep, so that area there is an area of interest, as well as this area down here with the severe thunderstorm warning that has been renewed. I guess you'd say newly issued, because there's 2 different cells here producing severe weather. Potentially 3 if you factor in that one, which is also in the severe thunderstorm warning, meaning it's in an environment capable of producing severe thunderstorms, if you factor that into account. Whoa, I did not mean to click on that one. That one has terrible range. Right here to the south and east of New Johnsonville, we got something forming here. We got to keep an eye on this here. Right along, right in there. Right in there. As well as right here to the north of Sugar Tree, something forming way up there. So we've got some interesting stuff going on. Wow. It's been a really long day in terms of weather. Oh, yeah. So, I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to talk about now, because, yeah, there's severe thunderstorm warnings, but there's not that many. We could discuss this line. Oh yeah, something developing here. Got something developing here. Wind blowing towards the radar, and then wind blowing away from the radar here, potentially flipping direction. That would create an area of a little bit of rotation. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. I'm covering the storms in Tennessee currently, where we could currently have a little bit of rotation within these cells, just to the southeast of New Johnsonville, and then just to the east of Holiday here. Yeah, I'm on here. Yeah, my mic is on. How are you doing? So we got this potential area of rotation into the sea. This is not a very strong area whatsoever. It's just an area to keep an eye on as this system develops. Now, as we have these little areas of inflow and potential outflow here. Oh, you know what I just realized I can do? I keep forgetting I can even do this, but yeah, look at this. This is so cool. Yes, thank you, Jersey Devil, for that. But yeah, I keep forgetting I can do this. This is like so cool to me. I don't know why. It's pretty cool there. You can look at the storms in 3D mode. We have a little bit of a cell forming here. We'll have to see. Yeah, velocity doesn't have anything to say for it. Back out to the severe thunderstorm warning in West Virginia. As we have these two cells here. One of them, we got a little bit of an outflow developing there. These storms are mostly wind and hail makers at this point, so no need to really cover them much more because they're probably going to fall apart soon. Let's see, if you look at we look at echo tops here. We could look at it in 3D here. This is really interesting to me as we zoom in here. The storms are really low topped here. As you can see, they're not very high topped at all. And see, this is probably only a few thousand feet. 26,000 feet, around 30,000 feet. So these were about the same height as the storms that were able to produce tornadoes earlier. They're about that same height. Oh man. We have a complex of storms here. Southern Kentucky, heading towards Somerset. But yeah, just to the east of Cave City, we have a little bit of an area to keep our eyes on there. Severe weather is really slowing down from what it was earlier. It was really kicking off earlier, and I apologize. I was not able to stream earlier, but now I am. So thank you, guys, for tuning in. Even though the weather's kind of slow right now, I appreciate all the support. So storms in Indiana. Yes, there are storms in Indiana currently. Feel free to ask about wherever you are. See, there's currently storms in Indiana. Some of them are on the stronger side, producing hail and wind. Half-inch hail. One of them is warned for up here near South Bend. Just to the south of, or southwest of Rochester, and then this one It's for 30-mile-per-hour winds in excess of that and half-inch hail. So, yeah, feel free to ask about wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We just had a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for quarter-size hail and 50-mile-per-hour or less winds. So thank you for tuning in. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell here. Yeah, it's really hard to tell there what all is going on because it's really at the edge of the radar. Indianapolis radar here. We got some storms. Southern Indiana. They've been going on for a while, and they're mostly becoming wind producers. We did have some slight areas of rotation here earlier. If I could take y'all back and show you that. If it will let me, let's see. Yeah, I went back when we had that rotation there. That storm was rotating earlier. You live in southern Indiana, all right. Southern Indiana probably had its worst for the night, I would say. So hopefully that'll... Yeah, southern Indiana, most of the storms have moved through, yeah. There's a few storms firing back to the west, but those should become a line of storms. And as they move off, they're not going to be really any, if any tornado threat at all. Yeah, I'm not sure if the SPC has updated yet. So we can look at that here. Yeah, it has not updated yet. So southern Indiana is still technically in a slight risk. But really most of the storms have moved through at this point. I mean, you can see the only storms there are relatively weak and mostly wind and small hail producers. Northern Indiana is probably getting the worst right now of what of this storms, So, anyways, thank you. I see there's like 5 people watching the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. I know my voice is kind of like tired right now, but still. Just to the west of Hurricane Mills here, we have a slight rotation here in Tennessee. Nothing too much to worry about at this point, though. This line of storms will be moving off to the east, eventually making its way through Nashville. I remember earlier they were all the way back here, firing off near the Memphis area. Now they're really just kind of moving off. We still have some trailing cells starting to finally get going here. Oh, if you like to subscribe, thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. And let's see. South of Waverly here, we have this potential area here. Nothing to be concerned about yet, though. We'll just watch that as that develops. Off to the east here. We have these 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. I don't know if I'm going to cover those much longer because they're not really much of concern really anymore. Near Baltimore, Ohio, we have a nice area of wind taking shape. A lot of the storms now are mostly going to be wind and hail producers rather than tornadic storms. So I may not be live for much longer. But yeah, we got this line of storms here, we got this cluster of storms here, and then we have this cluster of storms up here in Indiana, eastern Indiana through Ohio here. And then we have these 3 severe thunderstorm warnings, so that little cluster of storms there, and we do have some cells firing there, but I think, we might actually have a slight bit of rotation there. I don't know, that's a little bit, probably not actually. I was looking at a farther away radar, so probably pretty high in the storm there might be some rotation as we had a lot of shear directional shear. But at this point, a lot of the storms are going to be more low-topped convection, rather than the storms we were seeing earlier reaching like 30 to 40,000 feet. Yeah, it is probably mainly over for tonight, and then tomorrow we don't have a severe weather threat, so thankfully. So if you can see here, day 1, this is today, and then tomorrow we have a little bit of a severe threat here. Day 3 we have it down here. We just have mainly a wind and hail threat, or just a hail threat actually, just a hail threat for day 2. So tomorrow, and then on day 3, we could have any number of threats for the severe weather. So if we look at the day 4, nothing. 5, nothing. Day 6, nothing. Day 7, nothing. Day 8, nothing. So yeah, everything after this should be really quiet in terms of severe weather. This will probably be our first big outbreak of the season, though. Of course, this was an enhanced risk, and we potentially saw a very violent tornado in Bloomington, Indiana. A very violent wedge, potentially, some people are saying. Yep, spring is right around the corner. So the weather will probably ramp back up. We're probably going to be getting in a more consistent pattern of seeing severe weather threats. Yep. But I think that will do it for tonight because nothing's really happening. So I will see y'all whenever.